As you see, there is just four of us who are usually at this meeting. We had notification last night that there would be no representative from Parker Associates here today. I want you all to know that an email has already been made to the town attorney's office, and I have talked with Steve Sullivan from the property tax division. We will take Steve's advice, which is, I presume, which is to consult with our town attorney and see the next step. He is not in a position to be able to give us direct advice other than to seek other representation. In view of the fact that this is the second time that they have stood us up, I'm certainly ready to go to attorneys, which I've been very reluctant to do before. Steve, you asked if I was satisfied with their performance, and I was not prepared last week to tell you my opinion, but I am prepared this morning to say I'm most certainly not satisfied at this point. So,
I guess that there's going
to, hold on, I haven't finished. So we will do our best to deal with what's there today, but I think we need to have a discussion about what it is that we need to have a discussion about, how it is that we should go forward today. My inclination is to keep people moving along, and to get abatements for people who have already had changes made in their valuation, or changes recommended. We should go ahead with those, and otherwise seek further recourse is all that I could think of as I was thinking all night long about what to do.
So, first of all, I guess I'm surprised that I didn't find out until 6:30 this morning that they weren't coming, so that would have been nice to have known last night as well. On some of these, I'm going to not be prepared to move forward in some cases because we don't have a lot of the waterfront gradients, and I have questions. I've seen, because I spent hours reviewing all of these abatement requests, and I see significant variations on base lot, most importantly on the waterfront, where I've seen, in theory, a value of a 0.16 acre. If taken to a full acre, it was the base lot was $3 million, which really doesn't exist in West Bath. So we'll do our best. I'll do my best. First of all, I apologize for any of you who've taken time off from work to address this. I myself have done the same, and it's very, very frustrating that we are in this position again. We'll do our best to address it, but I want to make sure that we do it properly. So as some of these we go through, I don't know where they stand and what we're going to be able to do on some of these cases.
I'm just blown away. And all I can do is apologize to the citizens of West Bath. I think we have a lot of work to do and a lot to make up to you folks for. And I'm ready to move forward with whatever that takes, any legal proceedings, anything we need to do to go forward. Thank you.
The unfortunate aspect is our contract didn't include the recommendations from our town attorney for legal process. So I don't know what that's going to look like.
Let her finish, please.
I'm still speaking, Madeline. You cut me off. We did not receive and implement what we paid for from our town attorney for legal protection for this town, and I'm exceptionally frustrated that that has put us in now a negative position as we move forward from a legal perspective.
May we try to deal with what's in front of us today and not rehearse history? I think that we're in a bind. We were in a bind. We've been in a bind. Let's see what we can do today to get out of the bind. As insofar as possible, let's move forward and let the attorneys deal with what attorneys deal with. Steve, please.
Perchance did Parker give any excuse?
And I'm sorry, when speaking for the first time, can we please introduce ourselves for the record? Thank you.
Steve Winter, West Bath. Did Parker give any excuse for canceling?
One of the persons was not available, the other had a family member who had a medical appointment. But we don't know what the other availability was. It's not acceptable.
So I guess I have one question. It's come to my attention that the town has received an invoice from Parker Appraisal. And in that invoice, were there any allocations submitted that pertain to the tabulation of what we have in front of us today, Christine?
No.
Can I get a copy of the invoice after this meeting?
Yeah, you can get a copy of the invoice. I don't intend to put it through to Julie to pay.
I'd like to see it
Yeah,
after this
you
meeting.
can see it, but it doesn't, we don't have any more information than what is on the invoice.
Which is insufficient.
Yeah.
So, shall we do what we can do? I am not very good at names outside of general European style names. Famil Mohammed Ahmadi, Amir and Taylor, are you all here?
If they're not here, can I suggest that we put them off and go to the next person so we don't have people waiting?
Yes.
Thank you.
The next on the list is Carolyn Lamont and devisees. Do we have?
Yes, we're the devisees of Carolyn Lamont. My name is Bill Lehman, my wife Rebecca and Jeff. There were two others as well. Carolyn left the property to the father. Yes. So the first item I think on your agenda was our lot.
This R01, because I know you have two on here. Is this R?
Yeah, R112.
0112, okay, that's what we're
Okay.
again. Okay.
That valuation, as you can see, went from 17,000 to 67,000, about a 300% increase over the year, 22 to 25, 23. We would like to request a larger abatement, best based on the fact that we researched the properties that surround ours. Like for instance, I'll give just a couple of quick examples. The lot to the north of ours is 53 acres. It's the same topography. You go back from the power lines about maybe 60 or 70 yards, then down over a cliff. This is land that's basically a quarter to half a mile behind Wing Farm. So anyways, that lot, it's 53 acre lot, valued at about $54,000. So you have a 53 acre lot, which is 3.5 times the size of ours, valued at $13,000 less. Also, that lot, as I mentioned, was to the north. We also have lots that are also comparables to the south that range between probably 2,000 to 3,500. So our little lot, 15-acre lot, as comparative to these larger lots, is the most expensive lot in the area.
Which lot is which?
We're R0112, which is this one right here.
Yeah, one other factor on that lot is Mill Pond comes onto our lot and takes up about a third of it. So really, there's maybe 10 usable acres. Our property, I would surprise me if our property, this particular lot was once part of that larger lot that I'm referencing. Like I said, it's the same thing. You go out 60, 70 yards down a ledge. Carolyn, when she was alive, was approached by a logger to go in there and cut some wood. He was able to cut a little bit of wood at the top, but then couldn't get his skidder down over that ledge. So, and then if you do climb a ledge down, it's like a canyon. You go across, then up another 20-foot ledge, and you're right in the north end of the Mill Pond, south end of the Mill Pond, and you can look down and see the high school. So basically, 10 acres of usable land maybe, very high valuation.
So I looked at your submission, and there's supporting lands around you. And what we're taught to do is kind of average out, take the high and the low, and then average out the middle. And so I looked at this and came up with an average of $670.98 per acre as an average. Based upon, and if you look on this page in there, Madeline, in the application. And
Our lot per acre is 4,500.
I'm just saying for the average of the 15 acres.
Okay.
So because you take your first acre and the land around that to come up with the average cost per acre. And based upon the tabulations on averaging all the surrounding properties, I came up with a valuation of $26,053, not $62,000.
For our lot?
So I don't know how,
So 26,000 is your valuation?
I'm not the,
Well,
what I
Your tentative
tabulated based,
valuation.
I'm not the one making that determination,
Right.
but I'm looking at based upon what it's rated at, what the limitations are of the land. And I looked at it and I looked at all of the parcels around based upon the information and came up, I came up with a value of $40,946, not $67,000. No, I'm sorry. Wait. Yes, $440,946.25, not $62,500.
And that's for how many acres?
15.
Carolyn Green Street, sorry. Okay. So we've got a lot issue too then.
Well, because I'm looking, and I don't know, I'm looking at based on what we have, certainly we don't have the supporting entity here to quantify what their numbers were, but when I look at what you submitted and coming up with the averages, I don't see it at $62,500, I see it at $40,946.25.
Well, we appreciate your effort, but we still, like, the lot right next to us, the 53 acre lot is only valued at 54,000. That's 3.5 times the size of our lot. That's our hang up on this.
Sorry, let me see my calculator out.
We were looking for a valuation around 30,000.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
We were looking for a valuation around 30,000. That's 2,000 an acre, which would put us. Which is still more than the big lot.
So what do you recommend here? I mean, I just don't see the parcel, I don't see a 53 acre parcel compared to a 15 acre parcel remotely in the same price point, in the same location.
I think we have ourselves too limited information to deviate from this. Understanding that this may not be accurate.
So our first one out of the chute we can't address.
We can address. We can.
What, postponing it? That's not addressing it.
We can address it. We can approve it as recommended, and if people are not satisfied, they can go to the Board of Assessment Review, which is a better place for a review.
I disagree with that. I don't think we should negate all of these because Parker Appraisal has given us an estimate that now is not here to substantiate that. And we still to this date don't have the complete manual for the review to even come up with the same figures that we're trying to tabulate today. So I think it's a disservice, and I think we should either postpone this and talk to our town attorney as to what the next step forward is to make sure the community has what they need, because our review process is the same position that we are sitting here today with not enough information. So I think it's a disservice to them to put them off to the next review process who still doesn't have the information that we have today. So I think we need to, before we do anything, we either talk to our town attorney, because that's, the next group does not have what we need as well. So I move that we postpone this abatement until we speak with our town attorney for better recommendations.
The town attorney can't give us a valuation.
No, but we need a process on what to do next. And we don't have that right now. And we don't have the completed manual to even accomplish that. And so we have a question into the Maine Revenue Services, we have a question into our town attorney, and right now West Bath is at a standstill to move forward. Because we can't make recommendations without the proper information that we need.
So, do we just go home?
Well, we can go through all these at one time. I don't have the answer to that. There's some here that can be addressed, that are simple changes to property cards. I think those can be processed. But some of these, we don't have the capacity to address, Madeline. So maybe we do just go home because we've been failed again by Parker Appraisal.
What do you think?
I think if there's any that can be addressed, we should address.
One by one. I don't know how to, this one I think we move, you or the family here, what do you feel?
Bob, like I said, we feel that even at 30,000, it's almost double, not quite double the value, but that puts us in the same ballpark as most of the other lots. Well, there's the big lot, which I don't understand, maybe you don't understand why that appraisal is quite that low, but it's right next to us, and it's the same land, and it's $1,000 an acre, and right now we're at $4,100 an acre.
So I think,
I
so
think
I don't have the tool.
one thing we do know is that the owners of that land, which happen to be neighbors to Carolyn Mont's estate, the owners of that land had talked directly to Parker and gotten that really low valuation. Is that what you said? Yeah.
He said, what do you think it's worth? He said, okay.
Apparently Parker talked to the owner and said, what do you think it's worth? They told him, and boom, there you have it. Which kind of messes up your calculations.
And because I don't have what I need to come up with the calculation, I'd like to pause this, hopefully not much longer, and I
Okay.
apologize, until we can address it. I don't have the data to plug into the formula to come up with a value.
Okay, that's fine.
Versus, because even if we deny it today, the next group also is missing what I'm looking for today. So I move that we,
There's a motion on the table
On the floor.
to postpone until speaking with the town attorney.
This particular one, is that how you want to?
we'll go one by one.
Well, yes. What do you think?
Well, we need a process for moving forward, and we don't have it. I don't think the town attorney's gonna help, but I don't think there's any other way out of this either.
So, you,
So I would second to postpone.
we ready for vote? Postpone this, you want to do, postpone both the lots?
Why don't we go one by one, just so we have it in the record? We haven't even had that other discussion yet.
Can I just add one thing? Our next request on the house, the actual house and the land it's on, it's basically the same thing, if you want to postpone them both at the same time.
That's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're taking them one by one, so they'll address the other.
I think we should, just to keep it in a logical order, I don't want to waste any more of your time, I think we should just go one by one so we can address it as it's presented.
Okay, all in favor of tabling this? Okay, while you're all here, for the record, could you explain your concern about U406? That's the second one.
it's not in my order. Which one is this?
Number 14.
Okay, so obviously the property and the land are two separate valuations. The property was listed on, what do you call your property cards? It was listed as having several features that it does not have. The valuation went from, I think, about 190 to 335. And we asked for a $50,000 rebate, and I believe you received 30, about just under 30. Quickly, the items, just to summarize, the items that weren't there, the house has one full bath, not two, a wet basement, not dry. In fact, it's the old farmhouse with, has the groove cut in the floor so the water can run right through and around. It looks, when it rains hard, it looks like a small Colorado river in there. Yeah. So it does not have hot water base floor. It has a forced hot air to the first floor, and then there are registers, like in most farmhouses, registers so the heat will go up above. No insulation, and those kinds of things. Like the reason we asked for the 50,000 would be we figure that's the value of these items. With a couple others, like a new bathroom, I'm sure is probably 25 to 30,000. So, anyways. The request was for 50,000 abatement on the house. And moving to the land, the value of the land went from 59,000 to 106,000. The item, there's two things on that. One, the front lawn, the main part of the property up front, had a catch basin installed by the town about 30 years ago. The water from the two properties across the street drain onto our property into the catch basin, which really doesn't have a big enough pipe to take the water into the wetlands next to it. That's like a small pond where it rains hard for a couple of days. You could go kayaking on it. And the land itself has sunk maybe 3 feet, 2.5, 3 feet over the years. It's a very wet property. And the other thing is the abutting property is valued as like 13 acres. That valuation is about 12,600 an acre, where this one is valued at 59,000 an acre, 53,000 an acre. So we're looking at two properties, and the other one's high ground. We're looking at two properties. One's valued at 53,000 an acre. The other is 12,600 an acre. What? There's a picture of the front lawn when it rains.
So I see, and they had the age off of the house, the condition was off as well. I'd like to do a little more research,
Okay.
if I may, to look and to better understand how these tabulations were established. Because I don't have the gradient here, when we went from a condition good to a condition 5, what does that mean? What does that do to the value? Because I don't see how it changed here. So I don't have the complete manual for me to run the formula on this. Certainly you have an extra bath, different, do you have a full basement or is it a partial basement? I saw on one card it was partial.
It's like 3/4 of a basement. I can't stand up in it. The old farmhouse is built on ledge. So probably the south end of it is maybe 4 feet basement, then it comes out to 30 feet, and it's on ledge and brick, and then at the end it was a newer addition, I say newer, 50s and 60s, it's on a cement slab. So the slab portion, I can stand up in it.
So it's not a full basement, because that's also mischaracterized. You says it went from dry to wet, and then a full basement of which it's not. So there's
No.
elements that.
It's not a full basement, not at all.
I don't understand how, I know where these 4 properties are, and how per acre can be so much different.
Yeah, that's.
This doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
This is what we've been saying for the last year.
But how can?
Why are we just realizing this?
Let's,
But when you see these 4 properties, and they're all right in the same area, and there's almost a $45,000 per acre difference.
Something's amiss.
Yeah.
so do you want to table that one too?
I make a motion that we also table this one.
Second,
And thank you for the documentation, it was very, very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Actually, my brother-in-law did it. It did a really good job, obviously. Just, can I have a quick question?
Yeah,
How long have you had property when you appraised?
this was the first one. I probably did the rest.
And moving forward, when we move to table, can we just address map
the number, yeah.
R2, lot 5, whatever it will be?
I move that we table.
I mean, we've already got this motion, so that's fine. I'm just saying moving forward to clean it up.
Well, that would mean we would all need copies in order to do that.
Well, we've got the agenda.
Yeah, but on that agenda,
Like,
they've
I just
got
need
2.
map and lot.
Right.
Well, I don't have it on my agenda.
It's right next to it.
Yeah, it's in map and lot order, so you have to go down to,
14.
That was number 14.
yeah. Because they're the same owner, who took them together.
As we look at this, let's call the letter.
Yeah, I
So
got
it's
that.
clear
I
to
just
us.
want them to say it out loud for the record.
Okay, so,
Did we vote on that?
no, we didn't.
Okay.
So we're ready to vote? Okay, all in favor of the table?
And I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We understand the situation, we just would like to, get it resolved eventually.
Oh, in my nightmares, me too.
Christina, behind Kathy, there's the rolled up set of maps, if that's easier than bringing out each individual.
Yeah, it's just these have the sales on them, I didn't know if
Okay.
you wanted to refer to the sales so that we're compared.
Okay. Number 3, Carolyn Buck and Michael Green Street.
See, I'm gonna move up to the front.
Yes, please, pull up a chair. Come on up close.
So-
We're neighbors and stuff. Come on in. It's easier if we.
Yeah, and I've got my arm in a makeshift sling, cause this chair is weird. A sore rotator cuff. So my first question is about the lot value, the land valuation as well. Well, first of all, I believe I was granted an abatement,
Yes.
but not on everything, probably because there were still questions that information you didn't have from Parker. So at the end of my letter to you all, which is in my abatement, it says, basically I left the land issue a little general because there was already so much to deal with the house, and I knew you guys didn't. I'd been to these other meetings and I knew that you did not have the information you need for the land valuation. I knew that already. So item 17, I said, the final item, we also feel that the value of the land is inflated, but we would need more information about how Parker Appraisal made that determination in order to argue against it. When I looked at the property tax cards from across the street, there's like a split level across the street from us, and then there's a big yellow Victorian. The split level across the street has about an acre, and there's this if I remember correctly, it's valued at like 60,000 or something, their land. Again, this is just from memory, I don't have those in front of me at the moment. And then the yellow Victorian next to us, I think has about 14 acres, and their land is valued at like 180,000. And we have 7 acres that is not buildable, usable land, and which we will have issues getting forested as well because of the ledge, because you're going through this swampy area right after our yard, and then up a ledge, and then up another hill, and then another ledge, and then straight down into Lily Pond. It's not buildable, and it's very hard to forest as well. And we only have 7 acres, and it's valued at, what does it say here, 132,000, something like that. So it's not quite as much of a discrepancy between the last one, but there's still something off. And then the next person in line is my neighbors, Robin and Eric Hansen, which I actually didn't get a copy of their property tax card to look at, but they have a lot of acreage, and I'm curious, you know, what their valuation is, because ours just seems really too high.
So I see that they also have your house built in 1983, but really 1941.
Yeah.
There's a change in value in itself.
But I think that that's already been corrected with the.
But it's things I don't have,
Oh.
well, I look at, you know, when you're saying you've got your building, you're looking for a change in $262,000. I see the change on the card, but I don't know what has been credited towards that change in value. Do you also have a full dry basement?
No, I have a wet basement.
Is it full?
Yes, it is full.
And you have a concrete foundation,
Yes.
and your heat has changed, and you have no fireplace.
No,
So,
we do have a fire. Well, oh no, we don't have a fireplace. We have a chimney and a wood stove.
okay. So I'm looking, and I just, because, and we changed your condition from average to 4, I don't know what that means, because I don't have that valuation grid.
That was another one of my questions, is that like, if I was personally filling this out, I would say the condition of our house is fair. Oh, or poor, to be honest, now that we've lived there so long and so, we realized so many things that weren't on our inspection. So that was another thing, is I don't know how they are calculating the condition, but I have, and I just received the abatement,
Because I'm looking at the property cards, I see the edits on the property card that says original,
yeah.
and I'm presuming these changes were made by Parker Appraisal, and it says updated.
Oh, so you all haven't made any changes too?
Oh, we haven't determined any tabulation, but when I look at this, the land stayed the same and the house dropped 62 to roughly $45,000 in value, when it says in the front, I guess.
Yeah.
42.5.
So I didn't realize that this, and I'm looking at it on my phone because I just
Yeah.
got it, I haven't been able to print it, but I didn't realize that this was just from, that this had just been redone by Parker Appraisal. I thought it had already been reviewed by all of you. Okay, so now everything is making more sense, why we're still here today. So, yeah, okay. And I don't have a copy of the new property tax card that was sent to me. And this letter also is dated for March 18th, and it says I'm gonna get a little refund check, but within 10 to 14 business days. But I didn't even get the notification over email until April 10th.
That is a,
We haven't finished it.
it's a draft. It's not official till it's signed.
We haven't processed it yet,
Oh,
so
I see.
it's just based upon a recommendation that we're looking at.
Oh, okay, I missed that part. So yeah, so the land, and I don't know, I'm not exactly looking at the recommendation, but I assume, but it sounds like you've changed yeah, because I just don't have a copy of the recommendation on mine.
This is what the original from Parker was, and what they've kept the land value
Right.
the same.
Right, I have this, but it says just general reasons, adjustments made to keep type based on age and condition, and I don't have the new, like a copy of what would be the new tax card to see what they have.
We won't be making any changes on our property card until it's approved by the Board of Assessors. So
Okay,
there are no changes to the property card.
right, but I don't even see like the recommendation.
So here's what they had.
What the specific changes.
So here's what they had, they changed, these are the, I believe, is this the Parker's?
Oh, that's what, you just went through all of them with me, okay.
So, but I don't know what, the next one I look up, then I compare it to, here's the original, now the updated card, and it shows that the valuation changed to 219 from 262.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you
I mean,
see
I think it
writing
sounds
like
better.
this is Jessica's writing, just so you know. It's not anything internal or anything that the applicant provided. That's from
Yeah.
Parker.
I mean, I think it sounds, I'm glad that some has been, it's a good sign that some is being changed, recommended to be changed, but, yeah, I still am confused about the value of the land when I look at my neighbors, and
Well, I guess,
and how they're characterizing the condition, which I don't, what is my condition now, or as the recommendation?
let's see. It went to 4, I don't know what condition 4 means.
Okay, so that's still what I'm just like confused about is, I don't know what the numbers mean.
It went from average to 4,
So is that less condition?
I presume so, but I don't know.
Average to 4.
And I'm wondering,
It was 5, it was above average, so they went down to average. Okay. Which I still disagree with. And then the same thing with the layout, I don't know what they, for like typical inadequate horrid, I don't know. So for me, it's layout, land, or layout, condition, and land. I still have questions about those 3 things.
so it's showing that you have 100% functional, your physical condition looks like 75%. Actually, it took it down to 65% after the changes from average, condition average. But the one piece I have in here, which I don't know, is it says your land is 100% functional, and if it's not, that hasn't been, because I'm looking at the factor, your base lot is $100,000 for the first acre, which I don't know how that compares to the neighbors. But if you're truly that has significant non-buildable areas,
Yeah.
I would imagine that would affect it, but I don't,
Yeah.
we'd have to
We wouldn't even be able
somehow
to build,
inspect it.
we wouldn't even be able to build like an ADU on the base lot, our yard itself, because our well and septic tank takes up the whole thing, so that's not even usable, and then the rest of the land, the rest of the other 6 acres are not that great either, to my.
And here it's showing that it's 100% functional. So I don't know what that, how accurate that is. We'd have to, in theory, do an inspection of the property or someone.
Yeah, that's what I requested in my letter, I requested that somebody come look at everything. Because also, they never came to my house, not what they were supposed to, they obviously parked outside of it and took a picture, because I see the picture, the updated picture on the card, but no one ever knocked on my door. I work from home, I would have known.
What is your pleasure with this one?
Would you give us time to review it?
Yes.
I move that we table map R02 lot 005 for further analysis.
Seconded.
You ready to vote? All in favor?
Can I ask just a practical question?
Of course.
recommendation and the amount that is being abated in the recommendation, something also looks off in that math. Because if they're taking $40,000 off, but I'm only getting like almost less than $300 back, it doesn't.
It's the mill rate, so you have to tabulate it against the mill rate, and that's how you come up with the value, the financial, monetary component.
Did the tax rate, the property tax rate itself with the town go up?
It actually went down.
It went down.
The values went up, but the mill rate went down.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. This is the one we don't have. We need the one from,
Right, we don't have the handouts. Okay, so Parker's recommendation for the new tax, for this,
so this is a stabilized parcel, but we were looking at the full tax.
we're looking at the tax that would be assessed next year.
Let's see this for a second.
Yep.
Are these folks here? Do you guys hear?
Yeah, Eric Hansen is here.
Eric, come up. Give me one, I want to have one thing.
Excuse me? Could you just step into the hall if we need to have a conversation? Because the noise gets picked up on.
Got it, thank you.
Okay.
So, I was asking for a change in the land valuation and the house.
Have you seen this back? Have you seen the report of that yet?
Yes, whatever you said a week or so ago. And what I most of the land thing, I don't understand how they came up with the number. For one thing, they thought I had 22 acres, but in fact I had 28 plus acres, and part of it in 3 quarters. And using the formulation, using the right number of acres, I come up with the value of 130,000, and then say propose 140,000.
So, because I did see the tree growth, so we have, in your request, you're looking for a change, so that your land went up
Yeah, because there are more acres.
Correct.
I don't know how they came up with it.
of 1,900, and then the house, based upon the changes that were on here.
Yeah, the house
reduced.
changes. Let's talk about the land first.
So, it's a plan change from 30.
When you had this population.
So we took, oh, I see what this is. Okay, so we went to 8 acres of hardwood. That's what the difference is. So that's 5.5. 344.
Basically, I used
So-
your calculation.
So, yeah, I see it, so you're accurate, so you've got, we went from 2.5 acres to 8 acres of hardwood, and that per unit acre is $344,
Right.
which is where I got 1892, you got 1900, tomato on that. And then, so I mean, that's an accurate change here, that works, based upon the property card. And then the house, if you look at the updated value, you requested 18,300, and I think we came back with 14,000.
Right. And the reason for my 18,000 was the description of the house in your
In our
formulation,
formulas?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is no concrete foundation, there's all field stones. And the heating system is not 100% heat pump, but we have wood stove and we have oil furnace and we do have a heat pump for one room, but it's all a big mess of different things to stay warm.
So on here, on the updated, on the updated property card, they unfortunately didn't change the foundation, they still have it as concrete. It should have been addressed here, because he says he's fieldstone.
And we have a wet basement, which is only about quarter.
Yes, and they changed it from a quarter, from a half to a quarter. They did address that, but they did not change the concrete valuation to fieldstone, so that would also negate some of the increase.
And insulation, too, and it's not particularly well insulated.
I move that I need to see this. I move that we accept his abated request of, where's that sheet? Of 18,
Do
you have that in here? For the sheet. Do I have it? You have it. I don't have it.
And when you're accepting an abatement request, could you clarify that you're accepting the assessed value of, or just be as clear as possible in making as much information?
Right. Because undoubtedly, we'll have to look at it again.
So I'm trying to think, they're saying an increase of $11,000. I don't see that here. I see an increase of 1,800. I came up with 1,892 versus 1,900. And I think we should, so I move that we accept the abatement request from the property owner for parcel R02006 for an increase in $1,900 for land value and a decrease in $1,803 in building value based upon the fact that the concrete was not updated from the original property card.
Okay.
Good question.
Well, you said an increase in 1,900 for land and a decrease,
Of 18,300 in building.
you said
I'm
18?
sorry, 18,300 in building.
Okay.
Due to the fact that the changes to the foundation were not made and updated on the property card. And that the hardwood tabulation is accurate.
So this 14,000 You know, how much-
I'm actually recommending,
$140,
I'm recommending that the building change in value down 18,300 instead of 14.
good. Thank you.
Well, it's not, we have to vote on it now.
We need a second. Did we have a second? I'll second. Is-
All right, so
is
that
seconded?
motion fails?
So the motion failed.
No, she seconded.
Oh,
Oh, you
Madeline
seconded
seconded
it?
it?
Oh, I didn't hear you say, it. Oh, okay.
So, all in favor?
And please
All
say,
opposed?
Okay.
Okay, I'll just need all of those papers back, since we don't have another copy.
That's
And we'll have to redo
the sheet.
the sheet.
I took that downstairs. Can I also get a copy of that whole file? I did not have that at all.
Yes.
All right.
Eric, what was the valuation for 28 acres?
For hardwood,
Oh, it was just for the hardwood?
that was, the difference was for the wood lot.
I was curious about the whole thing.
I don't,
Oh, you don't have it in front of you? Okay,
didn't get that one.
I'll check it after.
Let's see, number 5.
Don't-
441 Mill Cove
I'll see you soon.
LLC. 441 Berry's Mill Road. Next representative.
Excuse me? Yep. Nancy wrote questions to Christine, and Christine said she would address all questions from her, I believe. This is 441.
Yes.
Yeah, 441 Mill Cove Road.
Yeah, this is Nancy Carter.
Okay.
The question on this one is the building, not the land.
Okay.
And this is because it was not completed as of the time.
Or still not completed.
Correct. And there's a there is a recommendation for a reduced tax.
So you're requesting the land value reduced by 17,926?
No,
I'm sorry, building value. All right, wrong column.
you have to go with what was written by Nancy.
I'm looking at it, that's what I'm looking
Okay,
at.
I don't have it in front of me, and it's not my building.
Okay.
Let me explain that this is a property that's jointly owned. And that's why it's listed as an LLC. We established an LLC in order to develop an operating agreement on how we make decisions as a family about the property. It's not really a business in that sense, but we do have an operating agreement. On the property is our residence, which is a log cabin. And over the garage, a new mother-in-law apartment status has been built, is being built. It's not completed. And at the time they did the appraisal, it was not completed. It's still not completed. And the submission is from my sister-in-law, Jamie's sister, who owns that part of the property, that structure. We don't own it, so we really can't contribute to what's right or wrong, except that we reviewed her submission for an abatement and thought it was well done.
So does she not have a sauna? I see that crossed out.
It's not installed.
Okay.
It's in
It's
pieces.
in place, it's not operational.
Right, it's in pieces in our garage.
There are no utilities connected at all. No sewer, no water, no propane, no electricity.
So I see she's got, so the assessed value of the land is $632,500.
The land's not an issue with that.
Well, other than I see that she's asking for the $25,000 exemption, which you actually have on your land, and as an LLC, you're not entitled to that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have it in front of me.
Homestead.
The homestead exemption, is that not correct, Christine?
I'm not sure.
Do you want me to,
If I may speak, a homestead exemption cannot be applied to an LLC. That's simply statute.
okay.
And I see her request for that on here, as part of the ranch with an exemption.
It can be applied to a trust as long as the trust is revocable. Once in a while, you also will have an irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust, an LLC, or an incorporation may not have a homestead exemption. And on audit, by main revenue,
They would pick that up.
they would pick that up.
So, do you want to move forward with the recommendations of since the house is not functioning and it's in completion? How do you want to?
There's an adjustment of, did you figure that, my math is, right, okay, so a total of 27,000,
For the building.
200.
So I guess,
Recommendation of the new value.
so Christine, if we've included an improper exemption, how does this play into this?
We just remove it.
So I'm comfortable moving forward with this as presented with it, based upon the original card and the updated card showing the change in value from 413.2 to 386, based upon property card edits.
Do you want to make a motion for that?
I move that we accept map R03-025B's request for reduction in building value of $27,200 based upon updates made to the property card.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Number 6, Francis Bartholomew. Bartholomew, is anybody here for them?
I think we need to table this because they don't have deep water. I move that we table map R04-002 until the property owner is present.
I'll second that.
My concern is, what are we going to do if the property owner doesn't present themselves, which is a possibility?
We need to make sure we send certified letters requesting if they're not responding to an email. How did you respond? How did you connect with them?
Let's see. If they provided an email address, I used email. If they did not, I sent regular mail. And we did not have an email address for Mr. Bartholomew, so I sent him a letter.
So I suggest we send a certified letter for this request. For the next.
This suggestion, let's vote on this and then let's have a motion so that we have a standard if people aren't here and we want to make sure that they have the information. Okay, so, would you read the motion?
So the motion is to table the application for R4002 until property owner is available.
Could we amend that till we have notification that the certified letter has been sent or received?
Well, why don't we say till we have notification that the process has been fulfilled? We haven't put a process in place yet. We didn't do that.
Okay. Does that work?
I'm not clear on what the motion is.
So we're gonna table map R04-004 until we have confirmation that the resident has been notified via the process we established to participate in their abatement.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
I believe you're on R04-002.
R04-002.
Yes. Okay, I move that we establish.
Wait, did you-
Sorry, take the vote.
Do we have any further discussion on that motion? Okay, all in favor?
I move that we establish a process that neighbors, abatement requests are sent certified mail for confirmation of receipt as part of the process.
I would, I'm not sure we need that for issues going forward. I'm thinking about next year.
But how do we confirm that they've received it here if they're not here? That's the problem. So I think we should process it, because we've got this stack of abatements that have piled up, that if they're not here and they didn't receive notification, however it was sent, we can't assume that they've received this notification and process this without them.
Right. But do we want to establish this as a procedure for this particular situation, or do we want to have abatement appointments notified by certified mail going forward?
I would say now, because we have so many sitting in front of us, we don't know why they're not here.
And in that, do you want to give a certain timeline, like they need to be sent by certified mail a week prior? Do you want?
Well, I don't know when our next meeting is gonna be. I don't,
But that's typically in a policy.
And are we sending certified letters to anybody who didn't respond?
Yes.
Or just people without an email address?
Anyone
I
who-
want to be crystal clear.
anyone
about
who
what
didn't
we want.
respond, just an email address doesn't mean it didn't go to their junk mail. So I think we need to have, I move that we send certified mail to every abatement request, processed today and into the future, to the resident, to the mailing address of where the tax bill is sent.
Confirmation receipt.
Return receipt requested, yes. Providing a week from receipt to response, what is it, 2 days? So if it's the meetings, I guess we needed a 10-day window. I don't know how long the mail is,
We're gonna need to clean this one up before we vote, because we're just figuring out the process as we go. So, a week ahead of time?
but what is it, 3 days for mailing? Should we say 10 days? That'll give 3 days for mailing process and 7 days to receive and respond.
What do we do if somebody's on vacation?
You won't get a receipt.
We won't get a signed receipt.
Okay.
Right.
But mail's not always 3 days either.
But if we have a 10-day time frame, that's what I'm trying to think, if we give 3 days to them, they,
But then to take time off like this and stuff.
Right.
I know.
think we're really,
I think 2 weeks at least.
I'm fine with 2 weeks.
I do too, we just, if somebody needs to take a day off, sometimes they just can't.
Yeah, you can't do it, right. Depends on,
So I'll I'll amend the motion. I move that we provide a 2-week window for notification for abatement requests sent to the address of record for the real estate tax.
does that include certified mail?
Certified mail, return receipt.
Seconded.
Do you have that, Carly?
No, I'm gonna have to get that off that.
Okay.
I've got a timestamp for it.
So the gist is
Yeah, I get the gist.
2 weeks, 14 days,
Return receipt
and by certified mail, return receipt.
to their address of the real estate tax bill
Address
on record.
on record. Okay? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all in favor? And for clarification, this is, at this point, just for this particular tax year.
I would say for all tax years that we have abatements, any
Okay.
abatement.
Can you make that as a motion?
I move that this process be initiated for all abatement requests path forward.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? We ready to vote? All in favor?
It's only nice to hear, I promise.
Next up, Henderson? Linda Henderson?
Is not.
Is not here. She has two. So, put them in the table file? Motion?
Is it possible to silence the typing sound on your phone?
I'm so
It's
sorry.
really distracting, thank
I
you.
was missing a meeting, so I had to tell
Yeah.
them. I apologize, thank you very much.
So wait, there's 2 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I move that we table R04, map R04 lot 034 for a future abatement meeting.
And,
I'm gonna do it separately, sorry, I'm here differently.
If you do it in order, it'll be 004.
R034?
R04 004.
Where down were they? Number 7. I don't have it.
And
You just, I'll just do, we just did 034?
We have a motion, we haven't had a second.
I second it.
Thank you.
004.
This was for 004, correct?
No,
Okay.
you said 034.
Okay.
so we have a second. So we have a motion to table, all in favor?
I move that we table R04 004.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All in favor? And according to our new process, we'll send her certified letter.
Francis Soro here.
I know Fran's overall is on pre-scheduled travel today.
Okay. So.
I move that we table R04 033 until the property unit may attend.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Let's take this, is Newman? Anyone here from Newman?
I move that we table R06044 until the property owner may be present.
That's R060448.
E, yeah.
E, yep.
Seconded?
I have not heard from Mr. Newman, however, a number of people said that they would not be attending because they were satisfied with the abatement that would be granted, so just for your awareness.
Do we have that in writing?
Well, yes, by email.
And we will.
So include that with the next file then. We will have to address it at a future meeting unless we can produce it later this afternoon.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on R06044-E. Further discussion? All in favor?
So Christine, if you can get that at lunch break, maybe we can bring that one
Yeah,
back to
I'll
the.
print out what I have.
Okay,
The next file, the Taunton Living Trust.
Yes.
Larry Totten was actually in the office yesterday, so I don't have anything in writing from him. But he wanted to confirm that he was satisfied with the abatement.
so is
But I
that,
don't have anything in writing from him.
so I move that we table R06047D until we have confirmation from the property owner that they are satisfied with the abatement.
Seconded?
Any further discussion? All in favor? They,
Give me 1 second.
yep. I'm actually going to call for a 5-minute personal needs break. It is not good for people to sit for more than an hour all at once. And some of us might have had coffee this morning. So let's adjourn for till 10:20 on this clock.